to do something.
Do something.
Dog trick.
Yeah.
This is about to be some spiritual craziness. So we have another guest, another podcast episode. Our co-host is back. If you could show the lovely Vanna White here for the audience.
I'm back. Hope you missed me.
She's back live for the audience. Where were you on yesterday's episode?
Oh, well, yesterday I had a little children to take care of, I guess.
Oh, I just want to make sure you were going to give them a good excuse. That's all. All right. Our guest today is, I can't say your last name.
Okay, it's DesRosiers.
Melissa DesRosiers. She owns the Dance Studio that is, she has one in Zanesville, and she just opened one March 1st in Cambridge, which is right by Bee's Knees, and it's behind Arby's, beside Aldi's across from Walmart in Cambridge. So yeah, it's in that little strip back there, and it is a dance studio. And Melissa, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your dance studio and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Melissa.
Pull that mic up to your mouth, honey. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So I'm Melissa DesRosiers. My spiritual name is Melissa Charis. I heard you guys talking about changing your name. So my business coach, she's my spiritual business coach, told me to change my last name. So I did. And it works.
I love it. It does.
FYI.
It's a different vibration.
Totally different vibration. So yes, I have owned Dance for 23 years.
Holy
Opened it
crap.
right out of high school. Yep.
Wow.
That's all you've ever known?
Well, ish.
Yeah. But that's been like the heart of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been the heart of it all.
Got it.
Yeah. And I just teach. My favorite age to teach are the babies, like 18 months to 5. They're my favorites. Everyone else's nightmares.
Yeah. You
but
seem
my
like
favorites.
a very like gentle spirit.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. You'd be good with kids.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
what I am. But yeah, and we do all styles of dance. And yoga.
Yes.
Ashley teaches yoga there, and I teach kid yoga there.
Ashley, do you want to talk about your experience with yoga there?
Yes. So this is the first hot yoga studio in Cambridge area, Guernsey County. And I teach 3 or 4 classes a week there. And my schedule is on Facebook if you would like to try out some yoga.
Yeah.
It's
It's actually a great experience. Our producer, Casey, and I, we frequent it a lot, and it is a good time. We often go to hot yoga and sweat our asses off. So it's a very enjoyable thing, and I highly recommend it. It's a release in itself, I would say, because when you leave there, your mat is literally covered in sweat.
Yeah.
But back to the name change. You said something
Yes.
very significant to my life. I before spirituality and stuff, I didn't know like name changes actually could change like the vibration of your life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just doing it because obviously I transitioned and was trans for a while, and it does change who you are.
Yeah.
And it gives you a different resonance in life. Like, so you can relate it back to like, why do people take like when you get knighted, you become like sir, or you know what I mean? Those titles, they actually do hold a resonance and a vibrational state of sort.
Yeah, absolutely. So how I figure it out, so my when I do my spiritual work, it's Melissa Charis. And so numerologically, if I said that right, it comes out to a vibration that's free, authentic, and healing. So when it comes to that part of me and my work, that's who I want to be. That's my brand, is free, authentic, and healing. But then when it comes to dance, it's very structured, but authentic as well. So I go by Melissa DesRosiers when I teach dance, and then Melissa Charis when I'm healing people.
Yeah. And so you said numerologically. But it's actually, it's numerology.
Yeah,
And
it's numerology.
every letter in the alphabet has a different numerological value behind it. So like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes 1 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, after you get to the 9th letter, it starts over.
Right.
1 through 9 again for the next letter after the 9th letter. So, and then you add those up and they come to a number, and then you break that down to its simplest form.
Yep.
And like, it's sort of like life path numbers.
Yep.
Anyone who doesn't know life path numbers, you know, you'd be freaked out if you look up your life path number and you realize like I'm an 8. I'm an infinity symbol. Like I'm abundance, and I just, things just happen unimaginably for me, and it really resonates with my life. But I'm a community person. I'm a lover of all people. I'm a uniter of all people. And if you look up just go to life path calculator on Google, and you'll be astonished at what you find. It's crazy similar. It's kind of like zodiac, you know, astrology, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Have you done your life path number?
No, I have not. Melissa just told me I was a 7, so.
Well, her birthday, she's a 7, like when you add the birthday day. So I was born October 12th, so I'm a 3, which when you put your numerology together with your astrology and your birth charts and your human design, your whole life starts to make total sense.
Yeah.
And you really get to release like all of the crap that you've been through, because it's like,
I'm about to take a big swig of this wine.
Go for it.
Keep talking. Bring that mic closer to your mouth, because this is going to get deep, because I've really been like taking a dive on this stuff, and it's make sure you get some good full room views, because I feel like it's going to be bouncing around a lot. You guys steal the hey, Barbara Walters. What are you looking at?
Barbara Walters. I love it.
Yeah.
We're about to get comfy here.
Get comfy.
I gotta pay attention to her. Keep an
I
eye
feel
on
like
her.
this is like the Today Show, though. Like the windows.
That's why
behind
I did
us.
it. Because eventually, you know, when I quit truck driving and just am here full time, we'll be doing daytime talk shows.
Yes.
From the skyscraper.
From the skyscraper.
That's awesome.
But it'll be fun, you know. Like, while there's events going on out here, like the notorious car show we met at, Casey. They'll be having a car show, and we'll be out in here just talking about the latest T model something. I don't know what. I'm making shit up at this point. But back to life and its design. Did I send that to you? We're in a simulation.
Oh.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh my
I
god.
love this topic.
Bro. I hate to break it to you, Byesville, but
Mind blown.
yeah, we're in a simulation. And no, I'm not smoking crack again. We're literally in a simulation, but I don't mean like, oh, somebody's controlling us. No, it's all you. This is what I solely believe, and this is how I operate my life. And whether you like it or not, it seems to be working out for me. So the thing is, when I think about this, I thought of it like, how are we in a simulation? How does it all work? But then I watched this episode of there's a podcast called Know Thyself, the Know Thyself podcast. And Robert Edward Grant is a billionaire, spiritual awakening guy that has had the money and the ability to dive into quantum physics with quantum physicists, NASA. I mean, he's done the whole 9 yards. He's the only person that's rented out the Great Pyramid of Giza 11 times and slept in it overnight.
Oh my god.
And tested literally tested the resonance of the sarcophaguses, laid in them, played flutes in them. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has white papers at Harvard, Stanford, and then they're all based around this quantum entanglement of geometry.
Yeah.
Because it all breaks down to geometry,
Math.
Shapes,
Yep.
the flower of life.
Yep.
Okay, he talks a lot about Metatron's cube. So I know this is probably real, like, woo-woo, like for people that are listening. But if you get a chance, this is really how it works. And I'm learning more and more about it every day. And I studied it back in the day when I was like coming off drugs and like getting real spiritual. Like 10 years ago, I was like, oh, you know, there's something to this. But now that I'm like more advanced and like more ascended in my consciousness, I understand
He
it.
thinks he's more advanced.
Yeah. Now that I'm an advanced model, yeah, I know that I'm more advanced because I hated math. I mean, hated math so much. I didn't pay my light bill sometimes. But now I love it. I love it. It's all numbers. It literally is all geometry. And I didn't even pass geometry. So. But now I can pass geometry is the point. Like I went from like addiction to like love math and geometry and Metatron's cube. Like it's unexplainable. You can't explain how I got here because I didn't go to school.
You just
You know? I
picked it up on
Explain
the
it.
streets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a simulation, and it's all numbers. It's and it's from what this guy was talking about in this podcast. It's not binary anymore. It's not just ones and zeros. There's more to it than that now
Yeah.
because of the ascension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, do you have you studied any of this?
No, and you did send me that.
Oh, and you didn't watch it.
I watched half of it and it was way over my head, so I'm gonna have to start studying geometry.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think I'm an advanced model, but you couldn't fucking get it. Okay, there, Chief.
That's why we're Aquarius.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yes.
forgot. You guys are Aquarius. Casey and Ashley are both Aquarius, and we're Libras.
We're Libras. It totally makes sense.
We're over here
That's
shape-shifting,
why
and
we're
you guys are like, we're going to swim around for a while. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. No, I watched an episode. High five.
Loser.
High
Trash.
So I watched an episode on Gaia. I was telling Ashley before we started while you were off getting some more beverages.
Yeah.
And it's ancient civilizations
Yeah.
on Gaia. And I was telling her like 5 years ago, before I knew what I know now or dove into trying to learn more and question more, I would have been like, I would have stopped
Yeah.
because it's almost really, really crazy
Yeah.
to think about for those that have not opened their mind up to the possibilities of what our reality really is.
Yeah.
So like Nikola Tesla is the 369 theory of like everything breaks down to threes.
Yep.
Everything. So
Remember that old, like, the old, like, wives' tale, like, oh, well, John and Stacy died, and they die in threes. You know, Wilma's next, or Ed.
Yep.
You know, they said that all,
Yeah.
like, all growing up. You remember that?
Yep.
They do that shit. Oh, you know, we lost 2 Pomeranians. You know, they die in threes. What the hell does that mean? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, and you know, like the older community
Yeah.
who was who grew up very controlled by institutions of our world, they're taught like religious rules, and this is bad, this is good, you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't talk to the, you know, whatever. But they did say things like that people die in threes.
Yeah.
So why does that magic why was that okay then?
Yeah.
But you can't grasp all of the magic in the universe with, you know, kind of the things we talk about, quantum physics and what spirituality is and the energy and all that stuff. So I find some things interesting like that.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I was just thinking that, like, why do we try so hard to choose to ignore like our intuition and that feeling like you know what's going to happen next, but we choose to like ignore it because we're so institutionalized or
Yeah.
programmed. And
And that's what I was just gonna say about why do they say they die in threes? Well, because it's a story that's willingly handed
Stories.
down.
Yeah.
It's a program, just like you said. Just
Yeah.
now.
Control us.
yeah, and it's like we're trying so hard to avoid that we already know, but we're just like, we're starting to come back to, I think, clearing that all the distractions away from life and coming back to our intuition and what feels good instead of what looks good or what makes sense to everybody else. I think that's how I'm starting to live my life, and it's working. Surprise.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Yeah.
Well, and we moved into the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius is like revolution, the Renaissance. So it makes. What's up?
Are you guys Aquarius?
yeah.
They're Aquarius.
I'm looking at these bitches like revolution.
Now listen,
What
so
the-
they could be in their shadow phase of their like right doors, left doors. I know I might be talking a little woo-woo, but we all have like a corridor in our blueprint, and we can choose. We have free will.
Yeah,
Yeah, to go to our right doors or our left doors. And basically it's the light or the higher self or the higher vibrations or the dark, the lower
kind
vibrations.
of like left brain, right brain, analytical, or you want to be free in art
Yes.
and explore your talents
Yeah.
and what makes your heart sing. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like we're all like within like a couple zip codes of each other, maybe one zip code, like a couple. Okay. But we all come from like different walks of life, been through different shit, but we're all sitting here talking about the same thing. And that's like because we resonate. And I try to tell this to people, like, and you said something a minute ago about, I just gotta kind of not do what's like expected norm. I have to
Right.
venture out and like do just what my intuition's telling me to do, even though it doesn't seem like that's okay to be the way in today's
Right.
society. And I had a conversation earlier today with another business on the street, and we were talking about like how everybody's like a different business here. Yeah, some industries kind of overlap, but everybody they put their own stamp on everything. And so there is no competition.
No.
Because everyone on the street is willing to authentically live and breathe what they do.
Right.
And so we just resonate with different folks.
Yep.
And sometimes the folks, shares in business, and that's what makes it harmonic, is because the frequencies, like the energy of the people, can just freely bounce around. There's no constraint. There's no judgment. There's no, negativity. It's just like, okay, well, like we're all going to share in this prosperity.
Right.
And if you notice Byesville, like something's changed. Something has changed here. It's unrecognizable to when I was growing up, when she was growing up. I mean,
Well, the Aquarian age is about like everybody kind of splitting off, I think, back into that like village life, or that like each person does their own thing that they're like a master at, and there's no like monopoly and like hierarchy. I think that's why things like hospitals and big corporate businesses are starting to like feel the ground shake beneath them, because it's not jiving with the energy.
Yeah.
So.
And the veil is lifting. So like COVID was almost, it needed to happen, there's so many theories out there of how COVID happened or why it happened and how it happened. But ultimately, my opinion is it happened to get us back into, like, we were stuck at home for a really long time, and we were forced to look at our shadows.
yeah.
And to really, we had that choice, just like the Matrix. Like, are you going to take the blue pill or are you going to take the red pill? And it's like, are you willing to look deep inside yourself to let that veil shift and lift up so we can see past the facade of these institutions and really break off and do, like, the age of Aquarius happened around COVID. So it's like mind blowing how all of it worked together.
That's so true. And you said we were forced, to look at our shadows, but we were, and if we believe everything's a reflection of ourselves, we were forced to look at our families. And how, we were forced.
How many divorces happened then?
Right, right. We were forced.
One.
You either got divorced or you got pregnant. And that told us, like, is your family doing good or bad?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it really made us look at how we were living, because it becomes so routine and the neuron pathways in the brain just come formed, and it just seems like, okay, this is my life. It's habitual. But then when everything's interrupted and you're like, oh, I don't get to go 9 to 5 and escape from this crazy bitch, I'm fucked. Yeah, I really hate her. You know what I mean? Like that stuff came up and things happened. You either prospered or you split.
And I think that's almost like what you hear a lot of different things about the new earth and what really is it. And it's like, I think during COVID was a time where we either ignored our shadows and we were just like, I'm stuck here because society says I have to be stuck here and divorce is bad and this is bad and all of these stories that we've been told. So, we get to choose whether to, resonate with our higher self or not.
Look, man, I try to be the example, and that's why I never, like, someone said to me lately, they're like, why do you gotta say crackhead? Because I'm like, I do the extreme because I want you to understand. I'm here now, but like 10 years ago, crackhead, prostitute, felon, loser, like no way out, darkest time of my life. Like, you can turn it all around in a very short amount of time. 10 years ain't shit.
Yeah. My sobriety journey was, I was sober for a year and then COVID happened and I relapsed. And then because I didn't really look in the mirror the first time, I didn't heal anything. I just put alcohol down. And so then the second time COVID happened, I'm like stuck with, in the house with everybody. Like, I felt so like stifled and so caged in because that's not my nature. I'm usually like out and about, and but that was like the gift that I had to like really realize that it was me and like I needed to fix me and that life would go on without me. My kids and everybody would go on without me, and it's like either I change now or I get left in the dust and whatever, live on under a bridge.
And that's that's called the universe. It's energy, and energy doesn't ever stop. It's always moving, it's always transmuting, transforming. So the sooner you realize, like, death is going to happen regardless if you are fucking depressed about it or not. Your mom's going to die, your grandma's going to die. Like, I want people to hear the truth, because so many people let these things kill them. And I'm not even fucking kidding when I say kill them. They hold on to, I was raped, I was beaten, my child died, all these things that happen, and they fucking suck, bro. It's fucking horrible, but there is no other way out than you taking yourself out.
Right.
Like, you have to get up. We have to move on. You have to find peace. And then that comes with a spiritual practice.
Absolutely.
And so people, like, you might be watching this podcast and you may be like, oh, this is woo-woo shit, but how well is your program working out for you? Do you still have those emotions? Like, is your kid still like weighing heavy on your heart? Have you not found a way to have gratitude and grace with, the passing of someone? Like, honestly, spirituality is the only way through that. If you don't have a spiritual sense about yourself, you're fucked. And that's a fact. Like, and I know everybody in this room can vouch. Like, and that's not to say we're religious.
No,
that's not to say, and which I don't hate on religion. I think it's a great foundational experience for raising a family. But I do think that there is a maturity point when you get to a certain age and your children are grown and you're, they're past that stage of like taking them to church every day, teaching them foundations, which I think are great, as long as they're not hate and bigotry and,
Well, because it's that 3 thing again. It's that mind, body, and soul. So if you're out of balance, then you're filling it with something. If either it's like grief that makes you feel like you're full, but, or drugs or love or sex or whatever. But
sex is a big one. We had a conversation about this.
And there's really no way to get out of victim, like what you were explaining, is total victim mentality. There's no way to get out of that unless you turn to your spiritual side and connect with something that is greater, no matter what that is. It's different for everybody.
Yep. And that it's, you know, with death, it's a lot like anything else. You know, you have to release to something that is more powerful than you,
Right.
which is spirit, which is the universe, which is God, which is Christ, which is Jesus, whatever you, Buddha, whatever you decide. But you're going to have faith in something greater than yourself if you're not strong enough at that
Right.
time. And that's where the power comes from. Having faith and knowing that on the other side of you having faith in releasing this, that something greater is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to pick you up and take you to places you've never thought possible. And it's places you'll never go unless you make that jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something about power. And when people are stuck in that loop of this happened to me, I did this, I made this mistake, or they, you know, anything bad, quote unquote, trauma, they just get stuck in it and they define themselves by it. And it's
God.
almost
You're-
so scary.
You're fucking right on point, bro. We were just having this conversation. So for those of you who aren't like willing to go woo-woo spiritual and like
You
burn
might want to
ins-
stop listening now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm going to give you some science because our brains are made of neurons, which are wires in the brain. And neurons that fire together, wire together. That means, in layman's terms, neurons, thoughts you think over and over and over. And if you're saying something, that means you're fucking thinking it. So if you're talking about the past over and these experiences over and over, and these emotions over and over, you're firing the same neurons. Neurons that fire together, wire together. You're deepening the patterns and the familiarity of the memory of that in your brain. And you're the only one keeping that alive. And that's killing you. And if you don't quit thinking about those things and turn your attention to something greater than that, something more positive, something spiritual, something uplifting, that's why all I do is spread positivity and motivation, because I know if I can just turn your attention away from the bullshit you see on social media all day to my shit, you're going to be a better person, because it's going to resonate eventually and something's going to flip and you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel good today.
Yeah.
It's because you saw so much good shit. You don't have time for that negative shit to come in. And that's the key, because those neurons have to be stopped.
Yeah.
You have to stop thinking like that, and you have to get the fuck away from it, because it's
Where your
killing you.
focus goes, your energy flows.
Boom.
That's,
Yeah. And if you keep focusing on negativity, that's what you're going to see. So like if you wake up in the morning and your vibration or your energy is off and you get on Facebook right away, guess what you're going to see? Crap. If you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm going to do my sadhana, which is a spiritual morning routine. I'm going to start my day with gratitude, feel good. Then you scroll through social media and you see nothing negative. You only see positive. So again, those thoughts have so much power and manifestation.
Absolutely. And there's I think it was like a Army Ranger or like a Navy SEAL, like captain or something. He gave us a famous speech and he's like, how you start your day is how you end your day.
Yep.
Make your fucking bed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Make your bed. Take control of your day. Get up, turn around, make your bed. Don't do fucking anything else until you can do that.
And how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yep.
Boom.
That's
Yeah.
the
Sloppy
holistic.
ass bed maker, you're a
Yep.
sloppy
That's
ass
the holistic
person.
circle right there. That
That's it.
holistic paradigm.
That's it. It's that simple,
Yeah.
though. And people are like, oh, that won't work. Okay, well, how well is your program working out for you? Like, that's my famous question. Like, if my shit is woo-woo and I'm fucking weird, then, okay, stay depressed.
Yep.
What am I can only do so much. We
Yeah.
cannot force people to change. I can just lead by example. And my example is, I used to be a crackhead fucking prostitute, and I changed it all. So get on the train. We're going for a ride.
My advice is to find somebody that you want what they have or you like how they live their life, and then ask them how they do it, or find a coach, or,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of need a spiritual guide of
Yep.
some sort, whether it's watching YouTubes like for decades
Listen.
or paying thousands of dollars for
Decade.
coaches.
Yep.
But, you know,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't.
Whatever way you get there. But the easiest way is evidence. And evidence is the truth expressed through someone who's actually lived life experience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's the evidence.
Yep.
That's what people need to see. Because the only reason I didn't hire a coach is because I couldn't find a coach that was a transgender, detransitioned, crackhead, prostitute, felon. There wasn't one. As hard as that be, that was now a life coach, an artist, a studio owner. Like nobody was, bro. Nobody
Yeah.
made it out.
No one was relatable to
Yeah,
you.
I'm Adam and Eve, bitch. Like nobody's here, you know. But that's how I felt. So I was like, oh shit, like the odds of me making it are slim to fucking none because I don't see anyone out here like me.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking scary place.
Yeah.
But the thing is, find somebody that you can relate to, like Brene Brown or Oprah or, you know, Ashley or you or me or Casey, and be like, oh shit, well, like Casey owns her own fucking hair studio, like her own building. She's the only hairstylist there. She doesn't have to depend on other people. She has this like luxurious experience for people. She gets to treat them privately and no TV on, no nothing. It's like a VIP experience. And that's what people embrace there.
Yeah.
Their privacy, their VIP experience. They come to you and they're like, oh, she's like really been through the trenches, you know, and she knows her shit. She's had to work herself out of all that toxic, you know, alcoholism. And now she's like really gaining more independence with the whole stepping out on the ledge of nursing and like doing different things. And
Yeah, definitely. Just finding somebody that inspires you and do what they do until it starts to work for you. And my first coach situation was my sponsor.
Yeah.
And that was like a woman in recovery that was a mom and had 20 years of sobriety and just looked like she had her shit together. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop asking how and whatever questions. I'm just going to shut up and sit here, listen, and you know, because my why is that I want to be a sober woman in recovery that can help other women, and a yoga teacher, and I want to live, you know, the best life I can. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. I think too, like you were saying, Geno, how you can't find that coach that's relatable. So there's a ton of meditation that you can do, and you know, it's a visualization. You sit and you activate that pineal gland and open that third eye and envision what you want, who you want to be. And the trick of the subconscious and the conscious mind is it doesn't know what's real and what's not real. So going back to the simulation, like that's how we're getting so warped into it, is because we don't know the difference between reality and not reality. So with saying that and helping you manifest and growing, you trick your subconscious with affirmations. We've all heard that word, but not saying, I will be wealthy or I will be abundant. You closing your eyes, you envision what that actually looks like.
feel it.
Tricking that subconscious. And then you wake up from that meditation and you're like, okay, I am that.
Yeah, I'm already a millionaire.
Exactly. And like quantum physics, as we were talking, like time is happening simultaneously, past, present, future. That's why you can go back in regression therapy and heal those wounds.
Yep.
And your present moment will be so much clearer and in a high vibrational frequency with your higher self.
Yeah. The singer Pink, Pink, the singer, she was talking about how she does tapping, you know?
Yeah.
She does a tapping meditation every morning. Like, do you think these people that have a lot more money than you, do you think that they are doing this shit for fun or to seem like they're woo-woo? No.
Right.
They're doing this because they can afford better coaches. They can afford more advanced classes. They can afford scientists to tell them, you know, what their brain's doing when they go into a tapping meditation and da-da-da. Is it really working? That's why they do this, because they know it works.
Yep.
And obviously their program has worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said something a moment ago. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I think one of the first ways to start to connect to moving emotions through your body is like yoga or a meditation, but just doing some kind of spiritual practice with movement to start to feel that release.
I got it with the sweet, soothing sound of your voice. So you said something about a coach, okay, and finding a coach. And so this is another thing I've been like, because like part of me is like, because I never hired a coach, so I'm like, who needs a fucking coach? But literally, Yeah, I could have done it 10 times faster if I had a coach.
Yes.
Because
You have that accountability.
the coach does things that you can't discipline yourself to do attentive wise. And what the particle, okay, this is quantum entanglement. Quantum physics shows that attention focused on photons and electrons cause the particle to move into form. Okay, so it's based on attention. And that's why it's the affirmations, they're not just affirmations, it's attention. And that feeling, okay, so you have a positive charge that comes from, positive charge that comes from the heart, negative charge comes from the head. It's like a cycle. So it's pulling energy in and out. And that attention of you in your brain thinking it, okay, and saying, I am wealthy. And then you feel the emotion of like, you have wealth. Like, what does it feel like? Do you smell the leather in the car? Do you, all these things that people do. Now, that is the attention, and it's focused on the end goal, and that's pulling through the universe, through all these electrons and neurons. Because if you study at all something other than local community events, you'll know that quantum physics shows that we are like less than 10% mass. This is just photons, neurons, electrons just floating around.
Yeah.
Like,
And even like this stool.
it's not even hard. Like, that's not, it looks
right.
but it's us bringing it into form.
Yep.
And people don't study this. And I mean, it is complicated.
And I think it freaks people out. Like I was in Florida a few years
real
ago.
quick,
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
before I lose track,
No, go ahead.
because what if you are responsible for everything that happens?
You are.
But what, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, people don't want to. I think a lot of, my opinion, the reason that people hold back from quantum physics and spirituality is because they are so scared and thinking that if I was in a different or a higher level by vibration and a different frequency and I was sitting in this chair, it wouldn't hold me, because right now we're in the 3D. And everything's like,
Oh yeah, they're like,
physical.
they're like, I don't want to get this woo-woo shit. My furniture's gonna levitate while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah. So it's like everything is everything is a manifestation of what you want it to be. Just like, something in your perception looks beautiful. And that's because your vibration is high. Your vibration's a 10 and everything around you is beautiful. But if your vibration is low and you're looking at the exact same thing, it can be ugly. Just depends on what that vibration is. Yep. And it's crazy.
And if you take that back to quantum physics, like and geometry, okay, and shapes, and like in their purest form, like shapes are beautiful. Like all the geometric shapes are beautiful. They don't ever get chaotic. But like when you pile on all these other thought processes and things, like they get all clusterfucked.
Yeah.
But they still turn into a shape. But still, it's. So you were talking about the furniture not being solid and all that woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's at its simplest form, which is your thought process, your attention. It's going to be the furniture.
Right.
At its most advanced form, it's going to turn into a fucking unicorn. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
Another reason I think I just think you have to have that moment in life where you're like, you need something like spirituality to save you.
You
and
only
sometimes
change out of two moments, inspiration or desperation.
Yeah.
And you have to go through the dark night of the soul in order to awaken. It's like you
Mandatory.
cannot not do it. And it sucks, but
I'm glad it happened at 30 for me and not 90, because I'm a nurse. I've
Yes.
seen it happen at 90 on their deathbed, and they're terrified because they didn't have that spiritual awakening.
That's fucked, bro.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But with energy,
That would suck. I'm like, oh my God.
glad we're
Grandma didn't wake up. It's like, oh, girl, we're going to have to do you're going to have to sweat and rhinestones.
Reiki.
And, crystals and sage. Smoke some Palo Santo and fucking, we'll get you right.
clear you. No, but energy, I was thinking about this. I was thinking so much today. So I am a Libra and I'm air. Like I have Libra, Gemini, and Aries in my chart. So I'm air, and fire. I have no earth, which explains me so much and explains why I'm so like everywhere. You too. So it's like people look at us sometimes and they're like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're doing this. You're doing that. Blah, blah, blah. Aren't you tired of it? Us? No, because that's what we want to do.
I'm over here doing the unthinkable.
Yes. But energy wise, everything's always constantly moving, and thoughts are energy, and they're constantly being downloaded into everybody's crown
Your brain is
chakra.
not a fucking hard drive, bro.
No.
It's just an antenna.
Right. And so we get to manifest what we want. But a lot of times that energy gets stuck because we're afraid. We have that fear of the change. That's like when we talked about trauma, they're so afraid to step out of trauma because then they don't know what to do with themselves. And same thing with the energy, ideas that flow into our mind. You either act on it. If you don't, someone else will, because those ideas are getting dropped in everyone's head. I mean, that's quantum physics. It
Potential
never
energy.
stops. Yeah, and we can transmute that negative or bad energy into positive energy, that duality. We can shift it from light to dark with meditation. And I mean, that's all quantum physics.
Yeah, it is. And to take this down into like a more 3D or layman's understandable way, the trauma, holding on to that trauma, you know, people hold on to that, and they don't know this, obviously,
Right.
because once they find out, they're going to be like, oh, I do not do that, you know, but it's your identity.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's a story you've told everybody, all the new friends you've met from when you were in college to your husband's fucking coworker. They've had to hear the same miserable fucking story about how somebody stole $50,000 off of you when you were 22 that you inherited from your Uncle Larry that died from cancer. You've been telling the same fucking story for 30 fucking years because you identify yourself with it. And if you let go of that and that excuse, you have to become someone new. And that's fucking scary because where do you start?
Right. Yeah.
In the unknown.
Yep.
That's where you start.
And it's scary.
But that's where all infinite possibilities are, in the unknown. If you're not in the unknown, you're not going to get anything fucking new. If you can predict it, it's not going to be new.
Right.
So you have to be the same old fucking you.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you want to change in yoga class, I say it's like a trapeze artist. Like you let go of that trapeze and you just know with faith, because you're spiritual, that the next one's going to come before you hit the ground. But sometimes it feels like you're just in midair, suspended. But that's why you need spirituality.
You need, it's that cushion.
Yep.
Even if you do
Otherwise,
fall.
you're just holding on to that old trapeze, like hoping you'll reach the next one, and it's just never
And you
going to
won't.
happen.
You never will.
You can either willingly let go or the rope's going to fray and break. And it's,
Yeah. And if people don't let go of their traumas, then it manifests into disease. And that's where like the institution of healthcare, which I know, Ashley, you work in, and it's probably really interesting to work in healthcare and be a spiritual, not a religious, but a spiritual person, because it's like medications and all of the vibrational energy that it's put out is kind of freaky.
Yeah, you just feel how like 80% of people receiving healthcare just are spiritually
broken.
sick and empty.
Yeah.
You know, the 20% that's like a trauma, car accident, needs a quick fix. That's what we need medicine for. But the chronic disease is self-induced, you know, smoking cigarettes and getting COPD, overeating, getting diabetes. Like it all comes down to filling that spiritual hole with something, and that damages your body.
Yeah.
Or just being stressed and getting cancer or whatever.
Yeah, pent up negative energy,
Yep.
you know, if you don't, and that's like, why do you think all spirituality has like some sort of clearing exercise?
Right.
You know, some sort of release, because you got to get this shit out of you, bro.
Yep.
If you keep that pent up inside, that anger, resent, we talked about this a few episodes ago. Anger, resentment, hate, guilt, all these things are low oxygen things. You don't have to have a lot of oxygen to hold those in your body. But to be excited and full of joy, you have to fucking breathe. You got to have oxygen. And where does disease reside? Where there's no fucking oxygen.
Right.
If there's oxygen, disease can't live.
Yep.
I mean, that's the simplest form I can put that in.
Yep.
And so you have to release, let go, breathe fully, relax.
Yeah.
You have to fucking have that.
Yeah, you have to.
If you're always on pins and needles, like you're heading down a bad path, you're going to be a train wreck in East Palestine. You know what I mean? It's going to be bad. You're going to chemical spill all over yourself.
Yeah. And you can, like, I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. And it's interesting.
You Reiki my grass? No. I'm just joking.
Absolutely. No.
Dad joke.
Dad joke.
But
No, but I work a lot with teens. And I'm fortunate to be able to work a lot with teens with Reiki and crystal healing because they're getting this a lot younger than what we did. We were
dude,
like,
I would have been a whole different person if I could have had something like this.
yeah, my nephew, he's a really great wrestler. He's a senior this year, and he hit a little bit of a mindset battle. He didn't know it was a mindset battle a few years ago, and he didn't know what to do. He's like, okay, he calls me Lissa. He's like, okay, Lissa, do your witchcraft. And so that's, and so, exactly. So I just did one simple Reiki session with him and felt where that stuck energy was.
Yeah.
It was laying in that solar plexus,
Yep.
and it's like releasing that, allowing that energy to move through the bottom of his feet, transmuting right back into love and light, and like clearing out all of the past traumas that our kids are faced with right now.
Yeah.
Like the stress.
Yeah.
It's sad. It makes me want to cry. But
Listen,
That made me
Crazy.
think of like weight gain related to safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if dieting didn't have to be so hard? Like, you got a spiritual program and you started to show your body that you're safe, and it stopped holding on to this weight like you're going to be in a starvation situation or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty
You know,
amazing how
and
it all.
some people like that have been sexually abused overeat to stay like quote unquote fat and ugly so they don't get sexually abused again. It's a protective mechanism. And it's crazy. Or like your grandpa could be someone who lived through a depression. That's all he talked about. And then he passed away and he was the only person that loved you unconditionally. And now you overeat for him in sympathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know what the form it's coming in. But the importance is it's coming in something spiritual.
Right.
There's never going to be the grocery store raised their prices, so now you're an overeater. No, there's no McDonald's got a new sandwich, so now I'm, obese. It's not, sorry kids, as much as they tell you that's, the path you're on, no.
Right.
There is something energetically, spiritually fucked up in your brain, and you got to release it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to release it, or else you're stuck in that constant hamster wheel.
And I'm not by any means saying that like every like girl that wears a plus size is obese or anything. It's based on your perspective,
Right.
your
Right. Oh, yeah.
happiness. Because I know bitches that are big, beautiful, confident, and wear a bikini.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But they're happy.
Right.
They're
It's
they're
that
confident.
joy, that
Yep.
inner joy.
That's it. They have it. And I think we get that confused sometimes. Like, oh, there's a certain look or a certain way you have to be. There's not. It's freedom.
Yep.
There's fucking freedom.
And freedom's huge. Like once you feel that, when we were talking about that, visualization and that feeling of manifesting what you want, that feeling of freedom is just like, I can love myself the way I am. I don't have to please him or her. I can just be me, and you can manifest what you want for your future.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I love that.
I purposefully leave my windows like clear and open because I want to be like free. I want to be transparent. I want people to like just see what I'm doing all the time, because that fact pattern of like what I do on a day-to-day basis is important. Based on how I used to live my life. Like I can do this now willingly.
Yeah.
Transparently. Like it's a big thing to just be free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's like the main point of all my spiritual work is to be free of my own judgment of myself. And I don't know, it's like so liberating when you just feel like you have a vision and you have a path and like you kind of find where you're going and the mom guilt and stuff like that starts to like fade because you're like, no, I'm doing the best thing for myself. And maybe it's not like with the kids right there, but it's for the higher good of all of humanity. It doesn't have to just be, for the immediate people right around me sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like that mom guilt, it's so programmed in our heads that it's crazy that we as moms put ourselves on the back burner for everybody else because our generation of parents, that's what they did. That's what they were taught. So rewriting that story and trying to heal that ancestral trauma and generational trauma, we can do that ourselves because everything's happening simultaneously. Yep. So we can meditate and envision those types of times that we had that mom guilt and really just transmute that and think, no, I don't have to do anything. I'm responsible for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And just like, and we're all supposed to like take care of each other and be connected and like filling your life with people that hold you up is not selfish. It's like actually good for everybody. And I think we're still in that mentality of like, I have to do it all myself and I have to. And
when you treat yourself, like, the queen or king that you are, or however you perceive yourself.
Goddess.
Right. I don't like that pose.
Hey, I bought that book, by the way.
The pussy book?
Yeah, my kids see me reading it. They're like, Mom, what are you reading? I'm like, it's not porn, I promise.
Yeah.
But the representation of all that, once you find yourself and you find a way to treat yourself to where like, without a doubt, you're putting yourself first thing of the day, you're taking care of your spiritual self, you're making sure you're ready to go out into this fucking crazy world, and you're going to see the reflection you want to see because you took care of yourself. You put yourself first. You showed up for yourself. Then you take care of everyone around you.
Yeah, my kids are starting to do my little morning Kundalini thing now, and
you'll change their lives.
Yeah, they're gonna be manifesting shit when they're like 10.
I'm telling you,
like, Mom, I got paid $1 million today.
It's like the guest I had yesterday, Haley. Her parents are like, chase your dreams, honey. You're only dreaming like this once, and like we're gonna be there for you, and like. I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Are you guys for hire? Like, Jesus, I need some parents right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's conscious parenting. Like,
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But sometimes when you do that, when you conscious parent your child or parent like Buddha, that's kind of like what I tell my kids, you get looked down upon big time.
Fuck them.
I know. I was just going to bring up the book, The Four Agreements. I started just naturally, I'm more of a conscious parent anyway, but I just felt like that was the way I needed to parent.
Yeah.
And it's the Four Agreements taught me the lesson that if they have a problem with me or what I'm doing, it's not about me at all. It's about them.
Boom.
I'm their mirror. They're seeing what...
Everything's a reflection.
Yeah. So, which quantum physics, I mean, it all comes back to energy and quantum physics. But, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, don't take anything personally.
No.
I can't remember the other three, but it's a good book.
Yeah. And all my... okay, so, like, quantum physics, all my reflections aren't fucking pretty. Like...
Right?
I may, like... You may not see that I have, like, bad reflections and I have rough moments and, like, I cast away my father and, like, he's still, like... And like the shady side of life around shady people and stuff, which I don't talk about this much because I don't, it's not for anybody else. But to give some transparency, like that's a difficult fucking avenue of my life.
Yep.
But I have to do it because I have a policy like no drugs and no losers. Like we're not allowed to do that because we have so much good shit we have to do in the world. There's got to be sacrifice somewhere.
Right.
And I can't let my attention manifest anything negative. Right. So I choose not to look at negative because I know what I look at is coming right back. Where my attention goes, my energy goes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't put my focus there. And people say, it can't be sunshine and rainbows. It's not. But when I see it, it is.
Exactly.
Because I know
It's your
what I see is
perspective.
going to repeat.
Well, you
Yeah.
see like the beauty in the craziness, or even in like the sad times of life. Like you can still see the beauty in everything, which makes everything enjoyable and joyful. Even you're holding somebody's hand when they're dying, like it's still like a beautiful experience, and you could take it as like a negative experience, or
Yeah.
like what a gift that I get to be here.
And everything's a teacher, no matter, I mean, sexual trauma, abuse when you were younger, everything is happening to you because you were meant for it to happen, and it's a lesson that you need to learn. So looking at trauma, I mean, quantum physics, energy, transmuting that trauma, looking at the facts, taking it from, okay, this happened to me, looking at it without judgment, which I think is huge, and people don't know to do that. Then you can release yourself from that and be free, and it transmutes. And it's, you know, to you, the traumas could be rainbows and sunshines and unicorns, because look what it's taught you. It's brought you closer to that higher self, and closer to why you're here. You're here to teach. You're here to help mold and create beautiful souls on this planet.
And often it is through like kind of retrospect, through that like dark night of the soul, like on the other side of it all, you know, you realize like, oh, well, this has turned out to be a blessing.
In
But I'm not going
AA.
to say it out loud because I don't want anyone to think I'm cold-hearted. You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, really, like how many of us have been there? I guarantee a bunch of people have been there, and they just don't talk about it because they think nobody else has been there. But
Right.
the truth is, it's a very similar experience. You go through this, and like your grandpa dies, and it's detrimental, and everybody's sad, and blah, 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 you know, and then you come back around, and you're like, oh, wait, like, I really learned some shit about myself
Yeah.
and life, and like what to value, and how I should treat my kids, because you never know, this could be our last day, and like, okay, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
You know, and you move on through life. But
Yeah.
like, the example of truth is important. You have to talk about the things to free other people.
Right.
Yeah. I was just thinking like the older people in AA will be like, I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic because it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I always was like, bullshit. Like, but I can honestly identify with that now. And when I tell my story, people are like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, wow.
Oh my God, I hate it.
And it's like, no, actually, like I'm saying it because I know that, you know, I have a feeling that this might help you, or
Right.
everybody knows an alcoholic, and I just know that it's going to free somebody else. And I don't talk about it all the time, but sometimes it just like I get that intuitive feeling that this might help you.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like intuitively feel it. Like, when's it appropriate? When's it not?
Yeah.
Like some people, like some CEO doesn't need to hear me say, crackhead prostitute. Like,
Yeah,
no.
I'm not going to go to a job interview
Yeah.
and be like,
if I'm marketing and consulting for you, my lead-in is not going to be, I used to smoke crack, bud. You got a check for me? You know? No. Like, you got to be real.
You have to read your
know?
audience for sure.
Yeah, that's not who I am. Like,
Right.
the honest to God's truth, and I've said this before, is I just say it because I know it was in the past, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And I fucking mean that. Like, I have two traumatic experiences, one being prison and the other one being something I never discuss. But those are the two experiences that I can only remember in clear detail, but they're pretty fucking embedded.
Yeah.
And I just don't talk, like, I don't bring it up enough in detail for me to remember or recollect, like, how many crack rocks I smoked in July of, you know, whatever. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a loser. Now I'm not a loser.
Right.
That's the
Right.
important part.
And I think so many people were surrounded by, especially in our area, which I do feel the energy shift big time
Big.
now. Like it's amazing. I love it. I don't think the elderly community loves it so much.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to get you all just meditating in a circle.
I think like my elderly people, the ones that I do like have
Yeah.
relevant on Facebook and stuff, And, this is only 55 and over, kids. I'm sorry. Not trying to. My mom's like, who you calling elderly, bitch? No. But, like, the elderly people, like, and I'm not saying, like, you need a walker or anything, just the elderly people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're pretty fucking understanding.
That's good.
But they hear it out of me enough, like,
Yeah.
authentically and, like, raw, that they're like, what's this fucking weirdo up
Yeah.
to? Like, okay, well, fuck it. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're
Well,
kinda
it's like if you're walking the walk and talking the talk, then
Yeah.
people are going to believe you.
Yeah.
And if
I
you're
know.
just,
Yeah, coming from Zanesville was hard, and I
Yeah.
thought Byesville was gonna be harder because
but it's not.
It's not.
I'm on the board of Zanesville Gay Pride, and
Yeah.
so I spend a lot of time in
Yeah.
Zanesville.
Yeah.
And I thought Zanesville was pretty open, like for Pride last year and stuff. But like my fucking year here, but it's been like, I feel like I'm at fucking Woodstock.
Yeah.
When I'm in Byesville,
Yeah.
without the acid,
Yeah.
it's just like it's a
Yeah,
great time.
refreshing.
Great time. It's an eclectic group of people, young, old, and it's just a vibe. Like
Yeah.
I can feel something coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
the next tourist attraction, is that what you
Oh,
said?
that's what listen. I'm manifesting that this place is the greatest tourist attraction in this region of Ohio.
Heck yeah.
I fucking like people are going to come.
Love it.
People are going to cross state lines to come here, and I fucking promise you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to own this building. And we're gonna
That's
fucking
good.
we're gonna
I
have
love
a
it
we're gonna have
so
a whole
much.
news studio in here. I mean, on the Today Show from Byesville. You
I
never
love it.
know. You never know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, once you put all those energy thoughts together, I mean,
And my job is
for
to
it, man.
my job is to think outside the box, to be a mystical fucking experience within myself, to make people say, he's so fucking sure of himself. Maybe unicorns are here.
yeah.
Maybe we are going to be a tourist attraction. Like, and that's because the more people I can tune in to that attention, the more I know it's coming through quantum physics.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Yep.
yeah, I have fun, I joke around, but bitch, I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're making it happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I need
And
to
I
change
call
my
everyone-
name.
I call everyone
And-
bitch, by the
Change your
way.
name.
I didn't mean to call you bitch
It's all
60
right.
times in one sentence.
Makes me feel empowered.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I love it. Powerful bitch.
While Melissa's still here, I want to know what Reiki actually is, or like, how would you
Yes.
explain
I'm
that
gonna
to
need
somebody?
more wine for this. I'll be back.
Okay. So Reiki is a sacred energy force that everybody has access to. So you get attuned to it. You can do Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and then Reiki Master. I had my Reiki 1 done my certification done when I was in this all happened during COVID. That's why I loved COVID. COVID was great for me because I grew so much. But I did a whole spiritual academy where I was certified in crystal healing, numerology, home clearings with sage and space clearing and land clearing, and then Reiki. And what Reiki can actually do is move the energy, the stagnant energy that you have stuck in your body through you. So when I do Reiki for my clients, I also integrate crystal healing as well on their chakras. And then I put an Oregon-shaped chakra crystal under the healing table. So it just, the vibration moves up. But it's amazing for I'll just go to the extreme and say, if you get diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, instead of going through the traditional Western medicine, you can go to an energy healer and have that negative, dense weight moved through your body and transmuted. So it doesn't happen in one session. It would, with an extreme like cancer or an illness or a chronic disease, you would, do every 2 weeks for probably 3 to 4 months. And then with that, change what you're intaking, not just your food, but also what you're intaking, social media, what TV shows are you watching, who are you talking to, who are you hanging around with. So that's what Reiki can do. It can move that stagnant energy. It can help heal childhood wounds, any kind of trauma, huge stress relief. Like I mentioned earlier, I do a lot of teens. When they come to me, they're just like, oh my gosh, I just need this session because of school. I get stressed out because I'm overloaded with school. So when I Reiki them or rake their grass or whatever you want to say, and they're stressed, I really focus on their mind. And how Reiki works is you get attuned to the symbols, the sacred symbols of that Reiki energy. And really, it's not the facilitator. It's not my energy. It's the sacred energy that comes through me. And I use that person or my client's life force energy that they have, which lives through their spine where all of their chakras are. So you move that energy through.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I do that without even knowing that I do it in yoga because people say like they feel so much better.
Yeah.
And I just kind of do ask to be like a vessel of, you know, love or source or whatever, and try to take my energy out of it.
Right.
So,
and it's all in the intention behind it too. It's like when I'm preparing for a Reiki session, there's a lot of different ways you can channel that Reiki energy, but I call in an archangel, and I call in our guides and our higher self, and we root ourselves, and then I break all attachments that I have with that person that I'm facilitating for. And you just call on that energy. And you know if you're doing it right or wrong. If you're doing it wrong or not channeling right, or if you're not in the highest vibration. So like if your vibration is a 7 or below, spiritually, you shouldn't do the work. You just need to be honest with that client and say, listen, I'm having a bad day. I can't, it's not going to work. But you channel that higher vibrational energy. And if you're exhausted after that session, or if you're exhausted after yoga or any kind of spiritual or energy work, you were trying to pull from your own life force energy, versus if you're like, I can do 7 Reiki sessions in a row or teach 7 yoga classes, you're pulling from their actual life force energy. They're using their own energy to move. Okay. So again, quantum physics, it's all that energy.
It absolutely is. And just for YouTube policy requirements, this is not medical advice. You should consult your family physician or doctor for your medical advice. This is not a medical advice show. We're not giving medical advice, and we're not advising you to do anything medically. This is just opinion.
Yeah. And with that, I'm going to touch on that. When you combine Eastern and Western medicine together, it's huge. When you find a practitioner or a doctor that will work with a holistic
there's becoming
practitioner,
more and more.
Oh yeah. It's huge, and your healing is so just. It's like you're gonna heal in your body. I know you mentioned Joe Dispenza, like how he healed himself. He's amazing.
That is the master of my mind.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that transformed me. Through meditation. His meditation exercises, it changed my life. I literally, so just to, we'll get real woo-woo for a minute before we wrap up here in a few. So I was meditating for a long time, coming off of addiction. I was still Claudia, still, still trans, and I was meditating for hours a day, trying to get my brain to slow down, coming out of addiction and all that, and sober, and just it was crazy because I was having all these things oh, what are you going to do for money? What are you going to do this? What are you going to do that? And meditating day in, day out, and getting into art and started painting and things like this. And then I had one meditation where I actually lost track of space and time. And I like spinny lights because it reminds me of when I meditate. Because now when I meditate, I close my eyes and I focus up here on my third eye. And when I get relaxed enough, it turns pitch black and it starts spinning counterclockwise. It like stars.
Yeah.
That's all I can describe. It's like I'm in a galaxy. And it's not I'm not even, this is fucking real. It's realer to me than any of this shit.
Yeah.
And the first time this happened, I went into a meditation. It was a guided meditation, and I lost track of the guide. Like, I couldn't hear them anymore. I was just out there, eyes closed, in this deep meditation, everything's spinning. And I'm going forward through all these stars. I drop through like a ceiling, like a drop ceiling like this. I drop through and I sit down on a couch like this. But it's like a medical waiting room. And there's seats directly across me, about 10 feet along the wall, parallel to me. And there's a woman, and she has her head down, and she's not saying anything. But I feel like, oh, I know her. She slowly lifts her head up, and it's my mom's aunt, Donna, which was my great aunt, which she kind of like took the place of like my grandparents, aunts and uncles, all kinds of. She saved all of us kids from like our crazy upbringing.
Yeah.
And she was like the poorest motherfucker. She like, you know what I mean? Just broke, living on Social Security, like, but would rummage together change to take you to like Oars and get you an ice cream cone. Would save you in the morning when you missed the bus and needed a ride to school. Would like rescue you at night when your parents were fighting or your mom and boyfriend had problems, or she was that. Unconditional love, you know? But then we go to her house, and her husband, he's a drunk, and they're fighting, and it just felt like home. But with love.
Right.
That was like grandparenty and like auntie, uncle-y. And so at the end of high school, like I was dating a woman, and like I was straight, and she got pregnant. At the same time, this Aunt Donna had cancer, breast cancer, and she wasn't taking any more chemo because she didn't want her hair to fall out. And it's like the old mindset. So she chose to die, and the girl I was with chose to have the child, and I was like so afraid to have kids because I didn't know where I was going in life. And so that started the trajectory of me like on the run. And then deep into addiction and all my troubles, and then coming back full circle into this meditation, coming out of addiction like years later. And I like saw her, and I was like, oh, she's going to reach out and touch my hand in this meditation. And it was like, we just reached out, touched. As soon as we made contact, I just like fell backwards in this meditation onto an arrow, and like it was like I was coming back to my third eye and coming out. And when I came out of that and took that eye mask off, you can't explain the love and the release that I felt from knowing that everything's okay. Everything is just fine. She's fine. All that's happened is fine. Everything's fine. There's no mistake in any of it. And I just was able to fucking move on with my life. And I never did drugs again. And it's like, that changed everything. And that's why I preach, like, and I don't open up about that often because I don't like to, you know, get all fucking gross. But, you know, but that's the truth. And that's why I preach all this stuff about spirituality, and like, you gotta fucking have it.
Yeah.
It's the only truth.
It will literally save your life.
Yeah.
Say it again. Save your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Oprah now, Super Soul Sunday, her podcast, all she does is go around and ask like spiritual leaders what the secret is, how they got there. And she could do anything she wants to do, but that's what she chooses to do.
And you know, it's funny because a lot of spiritual leaders that are from the West, not people that are from the East, and like that's what they know. A lot of people like us, we've been through it. We've had a lot of stuff happen, and it's when we work through it, when we process it, when we release it and transmute it into something beautiful, then we heal others. And a lot of spiritual leaders and teachers and healers are just like that.
It's the bodhisattva. It is the reflection. It is the one who skipped nirvana to come back to earth and show everybody else the way. It is the bodhisattva. It's, you know, you have to be willing to fucking bare your soul and just say, yeah,
Yeah.
I know a way.
Yeah. And society makes it super hard. But my advice to y'all watching, go for it.
Yeah.
Because it's so worth it.
What do you have to fucking lose?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
if what you're doing today, yesterday, the day before, what your mother-in-law is doing, you know, you and your husband fighting, your kids not listening to you, your job fucking sucks, your bills are behind, your dreams are further behind. Like, if all that's happening, what the fuck do you have to lose?
Right. Yeah. Get out of that
Yeah.
cycle of
You have to.
scarcity mindset. Like, change that mindset.
And it's supposed
Yeah.
to be uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
I think we're often
That's
mistaken.
what I told Ashley I don't know,
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Get uncomfortable.
You have to, because you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
It's that dark energy wants us to stay
It's like a guy in heels for the first time.
comfortable.
It's
You
fucking
wanna
rough.
be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be uncomfortable. And I don't like the pussyfooting around part of it where they're like, oh, life's supposed to be easy and it's just supposed to be just la-di-da. No, it's hard work. Because hard work is repetition, discipline, focus, drive, you know, big dreams, like no focusing on lack, even though your family's all in lack. Like you got to be the one that breaks the cycle.
Right.
And that part is hard.
It is hard.
It
and
doesn't mean you have to break your nails or, you know, rip your hair out or, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, yeah, that all comes with it, but you don't have to do that stuff. Like, if you just have focus, discipline, drive, big dreams.
It's like actually a lot easier than you think it's going to be. It's like you make every problem huge. A spiritual guide that I worked with was relating that there was this spider the size of a mountain sitting over part of my soul. And all I had to do was walk up to it and it shrank smaller than me. You know, they use a lot of like metaphorical speaking, but yeah, that's what I did in life. I would like climb under the dirt to like get to my soul and not face it. And it was like, just face it and everything shrinks like astronomically, I guess.
Yeah.
It does.
I call them the itty bitty shitty committee.
Yeah.
So it's those voices. It's a class I give, and it's life-changing. I took the class, then I'm like, I'm going to teach this class, and it teaches you that things like your itty-bitty shitty committee, voices in your head, we came into this earth, or came into this world as this being of divinity, and we were pure. And the second we came in, our parents started to tell us what to do, our teachers, everyone around us, society. So shedding all of that and being our true essence and shutting down those people in our heads and making friends with them, like making friends with that spider.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're not controlling me. Let's talk about this. Let's look at this without judgment and transmute it and make it, we can be friends. Let's discuss this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You
it
have
is.
the sooner. So I'm like, I'm doing this right now. Like the terror barrier, like with like quitting trucking, like that's like my security, and like doing my marketing consulting and photography and podcast and making signs and all these things that I'm very passionate about. I love to do. I'm good at, but giving up that security, I'm at the terror barrier.
Yeah.
And that's the part where it's a line. It's the red line in the sand that you have to get across. But right before you cross it, it's fucking scary.
It is.
Yeah. There's a lot of, they relate. Well, there's this lady that does pain-free birth, and it's really interesting to think about life and the actual process of birth
Yeah.
and how right before it happens, the miracle, it's the ring of fire.
Yep. The
Yeah,
ring of fire.
absolutely.
And the baby comes out screaming on the other side, but then he's all happy and gets fed. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It is. But crossing that
Ring
line.
of fire. The ring of fire.
Ring of fire. Brian can sing that song for us.
Burn, burn.
Out of the black hole.
Yeah. Right out of the. Oh no. No.
Yeah, it is. It's scary to get uncomfortable.
It is, but that's where all the fun is.
Yeah. It's where you grow and you get in
Like if
touch.
we sketched out this show, you couldn't write a show this good.
No.
Like this episode. And like all the shows keep getting better because we don't script anything. Like we have okay, You're a girl. I'm a boy. She's a producer, and that's a guest.
You're an Aries. No, Libra.
Aries. So real quick before we wrap this up, I'm a Libra sun, Taurus moon, Libra rising.
Oh, you've got 2 Libras.
Yeah, I'm very balanced
Yes.
in my crazy.
And you're very windy. Like you're
Yeah.
all air. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's why I have such a big ideas.
Yeah, that's good.
Somebody said, "You have a big mind." I said, "Yes, I do. I have
Yes.
a big mind."
That's a great combination.
Yeah,
You can
it
make
is.
it happen.
I can stay grounded with
Yep.
my big ideas and just bring
That's
them all.
hard. See, I'm air. I'm Libra sun, Gemini rising, and Aries moon. So I don't have any earth. I don't have any grounding. So if I don't ground every morning, I am like a pinball. Like I have all these ideas.
And that's another significant point. Nobody's spiritual practice is going to be the same. Like
No.
some people are
Oh,
going to
no.
need more grounding.
Yeah,
Some people are
you
going
have
to
to
need
go with
more
what
airy
elements.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much. We need to have another discussion.
I know. We're going to have to come back.
Like that brings us into Ayurveda and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. And oh man.
We're going to have to come back and do an episode too. I have I already know. Like people love the show. So the ones that are guests, they want to come back, you
Yeah.
know, which is cool.
That is good.
And I think that's going to be a consistent theme. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It's Brian's coming Tuesday.
No, Wednesday.
I don't know what day we're doing.
Did you hear me talk about you on today's podcast that came out?
I haven't had a chance yet. No.
Oh, I talked about you. I said, before I say this, Ashley wanted to record on Wednesdays, and we said yes. And then she changed it to Tuesdays the next week. And this last week.
So I'm learning a lot about myself
I
here.
was gonna say, are you a lot of air?
And I don't even know. I'm just Aquarius. I
kidding?
don't know my signs. I don't know why.
Oh,
That's,
I know.
that's what's wrong with you, honey.
We need to meet for a really long
Oh my
coffee.
God.
All we know is
Have you done your numerology?
No.
Oh, I bet it's 1.
Yes.
all we know is we're Aquarius and we need to go back to school.
Yeah.
Swimming school. Oh, we're about to have a after hours session.
Yeah.
Life path numbers. Astrological charts. You do your human design bits, but not your fucking astrological charts. Do you?
My brain is like exploding with so much information. It's like, I guess I don't know. I haven't got there yet.
Do you? Oh, because I forgot you're a nurse.
No, because I'm
Analytical.
I'm like
Annie over
learning
here.
hypnosis and
Who
time
cares?
techniques. And I don't know. I just haven't had time to get into
Do you have a note?
astrology.
You don't take notes, do you?
Take notes. on what?
Oh.
I take
See,
notes.
I'm a write down
Oh,
motherfucker.
me too.
That's how I learn everything.
I have to write it down. When people are like, "You're old age, you have to write." No, that's how it manifests.
Yep, exactly.
Can't
I put-
type it. You got to write it.
If you don't write it down, you really don't believe it.
Yep.
Because if you don't know it well enough to explain it, you can't manifest it up here. You can't explain it to your brain. You can't explain it to the ether. So if you can't tell me what it's like, that's why I talk about quantum physics. Even when I'm fucked up about it, like I talk about it till I get it right, because if I can't explain it, I don't know it. And if I don't know
Yeah.
it, I can't operate the system.
Right. No, yeah.
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 I'm very adamant about this shit, bro. Like Joe
You
Dispenza
get to
taught me that.
writing stuff down and
Joe Dispenza, he opens his thing and he says, turn to the person next to you and introduce yourself as a genius. Hi, I'm a genius. Like, he makes them do that. And then you have to turn to the person next to you and tell them exactly what you just learned. You manifest he makes the audience physically fucking turn to one side or the other and tell what you just learned. Because if you cannot repeat it, you don't fucking know it.
Yeah.
And then you cannot retain it and you cannot use it if you don't know it.
And when
Okay.
you're learning something, learn it so you're going to teach it. So every book you read, any class you take, anything, learn it so you can teach it.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then
that
it
makes
resonates
sense.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're listen, I'm gonna say this one more time real slow for the retarded ones like you. The brain is not a hard drive, it is an antenna. You get that?
Okay.
So you're not storing anything like you think you are there, storage Stacy. It's an antenna.
You Aquarius use.
You think you got a lock and key. I'm getting this down. Like, no, girl. Relax. it comes. If you call it back, it's coming. But you
Okay.
have to know the familiarity of the energy of it. So you have to be able to vibrate it through the ether. So if you can tell me about it, you call it back.
Yeah. My teacher, my quantum physics teacher, when I did it's called CIJ, Clarity Insight Journey, we had to we learned, and then we had a soul partner, and we taught that soul partner exactly what we learned the next day. So that's how that's how you learn it and keep it.
Yeah, we're going to do that
Yeah.
soon
Yes.
in April. Start teaching each other or
Yes.
doing it on each other. So.
And that's the important part.
Yeah,
It is.
that's how doctors do it too.
Yep.
Learn it.
Do they cut each other open?
That'll
Learn
get
it, do it, teach
interesting.
it.
Yeah. Let me give you a triple biopsy, doc. Okay, almost, doc. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Triple biopsy. After all we've said, this is not medical advice.
Don't give each other triple biopsy.
And I'm only going to say this because my subconscious is like, you better tell him, you better tell him. When I say retard, I don't mean like real retard. I mean like my friend that doesn't get the information that I say.
The Aquarius, I guess.
I do not
is
mean
what he
anything
means.
offensive, so don't send me a letter or text me or anything like that because I don't want to hear it. I didn't mean anything by it. My intention was not bad. It was
Yeah.
only bad towards Storage Stacy that thinks she's a fucking 2 terabyte hard drive over here, but won't write anything down because her mind is magnificent power. Yeah, write it down, Wanda, and repeat it. It's that simple.
He lost me. Like,
That's why you write down your affirmations too,
Yep.
yes, I
Write
do.
'em.
Yeah,
and then
I do
say
write.
them.
Do you?
I journal. I journal.
I do. Matter of fact, I write stuff like a grocery list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay, let's wrap it up. Until next time. I thought we were only gonna have one episode this week, but this is the second one this week. This is episode 4, wrapping it up with Melissa. How do you say it?
DesRosiers
Yeah.
/ Charis.
DesRosiers / Charis After Dark. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, we love you. Ashley, you want to say any final words?
No, I'm just gonna go right.
Fuck. You gonna say namaste for him?
Namaste.
Namaste, writing.
Satnam.
Bye.
Bye.